How we doing, everyone? Welcome back. It's been a while. That's on me. I've been very busy, but I bring hopefully a lot more content coming up soon. So change of pace. I've actually joined a Master Alliance. So this is my debut season playing a really top tier competitive alliance war. So yeah, shout out to FAE, shout out to Hennessy for getting me into the team. But yeah, it's a nice change of pace. I used to be an officer beforehand, and now I just sort of turn up, do my fights, happy days. That's the vibe we're going for. But yeah, first up we've got a Nova on path 5, taking it with Shathra. The general vibe of this whole tactic is to just punish specials to prevent an unblockable passive, but I've sort of been taking the approach of just actually waiting it out if need be and not stressing too much about punishing those specials. But this being my first actual war and it being against ISO8a, bit of a mouthful to say that, you can tell that this first fight I'm a bit rusty, but it's all good. I'm picking up the confidence. I'm starting to heavy counter a bit more, which is nice. So this node specifically, it is like ebb and flow knockdown, or like there's a protection unless you knock him down. So you can see that there's normally a fury on us, and then it alternates to a protection on him. So whilst that's up, get the special 2 off, deal some nice damage. But yeah, pretty straightforward fight this. And I don't think the tactic itself is that bad. I think it's quite a nice tactic for the updated map. There are definitely some really difficult fights on the map, which fortunately I've not taken myself. But yeah, it's a nice segue into, I think, the new map. So yeah, closing off the fight here, hopefully. Trying to bait out this special from him. I think going into this fight, I really just wanted to keep up the atrophy. You see he's going unblockable, he's got the energize. My sort of thinking was, if I just keep up the atrophy, I sort of keep his power in control, he's not going to be unblockable for long, and all of that good stuff. So here's sort of a bit weird on the heavy cancel into special, but it did the trick. So yeah, going into this war, I was actually assigned Titania for this fight, but after Decay, I fell in love again with Spider-Gwen. The girl is a machine, especially for war, and you're going to see why here. So this is node 14 Enchantress. Not an easy fight. It's quite notorious, especially when she was first released. You're going to see why Spider-Gwen is so good in war. So yeah, we are starting with a power 1 start boost, or whatever that thing's called. The idea is that as soon as we dispel her, we're going to get the Innovate up, try and control her power, reduce the amount of time she throws that special 1, which ultimately is the main threat of Enchantress. Spider-Gwen being who she is, she's got that slow off the heavy, and it being a single hit heavy means that we're not overly committing when we might miss. So yeah, we got the heavy off, we knocked it down, got the special 1 off, got the fury up. Unfortunately didn't get an Innovate, but Spider-Gwen's the GOAT, so we can sidestep her quite easily like we did then, and like we did just now. So yeah, it's all going to plan so far. We can heavy counter that, get the slow up again. Obviously Enchantress and her dodgy AI means she throws specials into block, which isn't that fun. But yeah, Spider-Gwen is so good in war. Like, I am working on a video for her specifically, and it did start off as just like a Decay war showcase, but actually I actually think she's so underrated that I want to do her justice and get some more clips in there from other content. But this is a sneak peek into that. She does sort of need synergies, otherwise it is just a slower build up. But for this fight, the Shathra pre-fight, I think it gives her additional charges. Yeah, I think it gives her an additional 2 charges at the start of the fight, so it takes her from 1 to 3. But I think as a synergy member, I think she gets an additional 1 as well, so her limit goes up to 6. And I'm pretty sure my Spider-Gwen is something like Sig 120. And that gives her a load of extra attack. Yeah, critical damage rating is increased by 132 per spider sense charge. So at the end there, where we had 6 of them, that is quick maths, like 750 additional crit damage rating. So that's why you're seeing those big yellow numbers. Anyway, waffling about my girl for too long. You're going to see a video on her soon enough. And I'm sure some of the later wars that I post will have some more gameplay of her. But yeah, the next match, onto Maestro. I believe this node is the one where he takes little to no damage from energy, damage over time effects. It's like an insane energy resistance. So yeah, the special 2 is not doing as much damage as we would have liked. But this fight for Shathra is just sort of food. She is, by design, a really good Maestro counter, who I think unintentionally became a counter for nearly everyone, because yeah, she is the GOAT. So yeah, here we're just not too worried about the block damage. We're just wanting to like make sure we can get our hits in and not get hit. Sort of didn't even realise he was a tactic defender until just then, but is what it is. Standard Shathra fight there, even with the node sort of mitigating a lot of our damage, still easy to close out. So yeah, the next fight here, Shathra and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, for mouthful of a sentence. They're my 2 rank 3 tactic champions. I feel like Negasonic would be banned quite often, but when she isn't, she's a joke. I didn't actually realise, I didn't put 2 and 2 together rather ahead of this, that yeah, we're not going to get bled through block, because in countering Bullseye and his shenanigans, Negasonic here, she counters Chee'ilth as well, and actually she basically counters the whole skill class. I don't think there's basically any skill defender that she can't take, which does, you know, concern me a little bit that we're about to get like the most demon awful skill defender the game has ever seen, even worse than Bullseye. Because yeah, if you look at the recent releases or reworks of the mutant class, they all counter a Tumor, Bullseye, Killmonger. Yeah, so expect a bullshit defender at some point from the skill class. That's my safe bet, I guess. But yeah, not much else to say about that fight. Tried to minimize Dexin so she doesn't get the regen, but also it doesn't matter. It would have been a tragedy if I if I died there. But yeah, make sure to vote, get your votes in. I'm voting for Invisible Woman because I used her in Necro for my second ever path, which is a very dated video. I mean, it feels old. There's no voiceover in it, but yeah, anyway, fan of the Fantastic Four, vote Invisible Woman, she's the GOAT. Anyway, next fight, mini boss. It's the last one of this war. Yeah, Shathra again, using her against Sersi on node 47. This node is interesting. I was quite scared going into it. And I think you're going to see halfway through the fight, I just realised, you know what? I'm just going to get that atrophy up, spam special ones, let the atrophy expire all of the nonsense buffs that are on this node, and if I can, use my heavy to get the falter on Sersi rather than me, then at least I'll be able to actually hit her and do some damage. The biggest threat about this fight, I think, is just like being permanently faltered and then you just can't do anything. You get cornered, especially with the unstoppable as well. That is a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I did practice this fight beforehand. I did try and punish the special 1 and special 2, but actually, yeah, I just don't fancy it. So sometimes you go into a match and you just don't fancy risking eating a special, especially one from Sersi that will hit so hard. So I do have an invulnerability boost on. You are going to see I absolutely waste it though. I think I could take like the most stupid hits ever seen. But yeah, here you can see I'll take 2 hits there and that's basically me ruined. Bit flustered, I've gone in trying to attack her whilst faltered and she's been lenient to me. So yeah, I'm trying to compose myself at this point because I don't want to die in my first war in Masters. And yeah, commentator's curse or commentator's eye, whatever your preference is. But back-to-back falters, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I just realised if I get the heavy off, she's faltered, I don't have to worry about any of her hits as long as I just spam the atrophy and heavies. She should be faltered for most of the match. So yeah, especially with those furies ramping up, the last thing I want to do is take a special, especially after the invulnerability fuck up. So yeah, waiting it out, the unblockable, get the atrophy up, letting that do its damage. And at this point, I'm feeling much more settled, I will say. That initial blip where invulnerability's gone early, I'm getting faltered constantly, I'm dashing in when I shouldn't. Yeah, not good. But that's what this game's about sometimes. You just need to be able to take a moment, recoup, and then go again. So yeah, coming to the end of this fight. We are going to close it out fairly well, and we did end up winning this war against ISO8a. Again, bit of a mouthful, but it is what it is. So yeah, enjoyed it so far. We're in currently War 3 against Cav. So do expect, if not when this video goes out, the day after, War 2. And then the day after that, War 3, the one that, you know, I'm currently doing. War 3, I take a Maestro war boss with Shathra. So yeah, if you're enjoying the Shathra gameplay, there's more to come. But until then, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And yeah, catch you soon, gents. Ciao, ciao.
Go on, you bald-headed fool.
Subscribe.